warm welcome to all of you joining us today for the MedTech overview and career opportunities for young talents and graduates. My name is Sudipto Mandal, and I am delighted to be your host for this session. We are very excited to have students from across the country joining in. Thank you so much. And now, before we go ahead, we see a lot of people have joined from various places. But let's do a quick introduction about each other. And I have already pasted down into the chat box, and I request everyone to join to share their location, their name, and college before. And let's wait for a few more minutes for all the other peoples to join. All right. Wonderful. So we have an exciting lineup planned for you today, and I know you are going to take away valuable insights from our speakers. To begin our session, I'm happy to introduce someone who has been a strong pillar in the MedTech commercial organization and has shaped many early talent journeys. We welcome you, Mr. Amit Bakshi. Amit will be taking you through an overview of the business, the sales training program, and what takes a career in medical device both meaningful and impactful.
Thank you, Sudeepta, and good afternoon, good evening to everyone for joining this session. I'm very, very excited to be with all of you guys, and I see the number tickling down. I think that's a great, great thing. So, welcome to everyone from across the country. And I'll just give a brief introduction about myself. I'm Amit Bakshi. I head sales for Ethicon business in J&J. MedTech, been with J&J now for the last 10 plus years. A little bit of background about myself. I started from education. I started my education with a bachelor's in engineering from Mumbai University, and I'm a computer science engineer by education. Did my management from Symbiosis Pune, uh, again an MBA in sales and marketing, and then started my early career in a very, very different industry, automobile. And from there on, I moved into medtech with J&J 10 years back. It's been such a learning and encouraging journey for me over the last 10 years. I've worked across geographies in the country and across the markets and across businesses in J&J as well. And I think I would love to take you all through what J&J has to offer as an organization for young talents like you and give you the holistic understanding of what is in it for you to be a partner and come on board with J&J at an overall level. So obviously, in the next 1 hour or so, we'll give you a lot of details for you to understand. But it'll be great if there are any questions or thoughts, please keep them coming in the chat box, and we'll try and answer as many as we can and ensure that all your doubts and queries are cleared as well. Moving ahead, the motto of our organization, J&J, is how do we impact health for humanity? As an organization which is completely focused around healthcare, our indication is purely towards healthcare and how do we go about in our marketplace. The first thing and the foremost thing that we work in our organization is something that we call a credo. Before I explain what a credo is, it's a document that's more than 80 plus year old, but it stays relevant and a guiding force for our organization even today. We started with this document in 1943, and post this document, there are a lot of changes that have happened across the world. We were in the midst of a second world war at that point of time. Moving ahead from that, we have had multiple uh, issues with in terms of epidemics that have down across the country. But the credo has remained the guiding force for us. What does this credo explain for us? It ensures that as an organization, our responsibility is to the patients, doctors, nurses, and to the mothers and fathers who are, and all others who are using our product. That is the bedrock and the fundamental pillar of our credo. The second paragraph of our credo, which has four paragraphs, states is around the employees that are working in the organization. And employee is an integral part of the J&J culture, ethos, and the ecosystem that we have at an overall level. The third is towards the larger communities where we all function in, and it's important that we are able to serve the communities with the right research and development, the right product, the right intervention that we do as an organization. And the fourth pillar for our credo is obviously the stakeholders who are there in the market for us as well. Moving ahead, what a legacy that we have at J&J. Uh, I'm sure you all might have heard Johnson and Johnson and relating it to the baby products that you have seen from your childhood. But we have a strong and very fundamental legacy of innovation and reimagining health since our earliest days. J&J is a 130 plus year old organization, and the demands for healthcare and accelerating at a rapid pace in this century post the 2000 era. Health is obviously interconnected with our physical, mental, emotional, and financial health. We are becoming more consumer led and tech enabled as an organization. We have seen more transformation in health in the past decade than we would have seen ever in our century as well. We all remember the COVID epidemic that happened, and that's where healthcare is becoming the center point of every conversation or every pillar that you're looking at. At Johnson and Johnson, we are focused on elevating the standard of care, innovating at the forefront of science and technology. Moving ahead, just to give you an overview, Johnson and Johnson. Uh, Sudhir, the next slide, please. Johnson and Johnson has a unique focus. It is two vertical organizations where one vertical completely focuses on innovative medicine, where we ensure that all research and development are linked to newer products that are getting launched in the pharma space. So all the diseases burden that you see, oncology is a major focus for us. We're driving innovation across that at a very, very large and a breathtaking speed as well. The second and the pillar that I represent right now is the Johnson& Johnson MedTech business. MedTech is a business that is evolving at a breathtaking speed. The innovation in our product portfolio is commendable purely from the point of view as an individual coming in. We ensure both biology and medical technology are merged together, and the right product are available for the customers to use it on the patients and ensure that lifestyle is something that they are able to utilize it at a better pace. We understand the complex pathology of diseases that we are facing today, and we leverage our knowledge and talent over the last 130 plus years and ensuring to reimagine the newer world with a less disease burden for our future generations to come with. Just to give you a data point before we move forward, in India, we have at least 1 million people suffering from new onco cases every year, and that's a disease burden that's adding to our population. That disease burden, when you go globally, is upwards of 120 million people suffering from oncology on an annual basis. That's the disease burden that we are looking at, and it requires both a medical intervention in terms of innovative medicine and also a surgical intervention that's enabled by medical technology division as well. So that's the disease burden that we are looking to solve at an overall level. Moving ahead, what is in it for you guys in the J&J MedTech business? We are here to target the unmet needs of the patient. We are an organization heavily invested in our research and development, and our endeavor is to ensure that we break barriers and develop newer medical technologies that help save lives, change the course of disease, and restore health. Because the health is the most important avenue for an individual to sustain a livelihood. The businesses that you see here are the areas that we completely focus on. I would not go deep into all of those, But I would love to talk to you about the business that I represent, wound closure and the biosurgery business. Wound closure as a business is a very, very nascent or a differentiated business. Wound closure business, Sudhit, on the previous one, please. Wound closure as a business is a very, very differentiated business from the point of view it's sutures and hemostats as a product that we are using. Now, I understand most of you are from the background of biotechnology and biomedical. You would understand what a suture is. Just to give you the gravitas of where a suture is getting used, just imagine any surgery or any procedure that happens in a hospital where there is a cut on the human body to be done. A suture plays a very, very important role in closure. So anybody, any operation that happens in an hospital will require a suture. And that is an implant that a patient carries back home. It's typically a signature of the surgeon that's visible to them. So that's the importance of a suture at an overall level, and that's how it becomes very, very important to have that product. And you might feel how much technology can grow in a needle and a thread. Just to give you a understanding, we have 20 product families and 1600 SKUs that we operate with. That's the range and that's the landscape that's available with our products at an overall level. Moving ahead, let me talk to you about why it is important for strategic partnership and collaborations to accelerate our innovative solutions. J&J as an organization, like I said, is very, very research and development focused, but we are also very, very focused externally as an organization. We partner with a lot of early innovation uh, organizations or startups that are coming in with a newer innovative solutions to solve the healthcare requirements of the world. We know the value of these strategic partnerships and collaborations to accelerate these innovations. As an organization, we have the length and breadth across 180 plus countries in the world, and that enables us to be a partner of choice for many of these small or mid-sized startups or innovation centers that are there across the world. We also have a dedicated incubation J Labs that's set up in Singapore for us. It's a center where people network with and come up with diverse ideas and ensure an idea is taken to an end solution at an overall level. That's the journey at an overall level that an individual can go through. Obviously, investing at late stage partnerships is something that we've been doing at a very, very large scale. And what do you mean by late stage partnerships? Late stage partnerships are areas where we have been able to partner uh, with organizations who have had focused or centralized solutions in a specific country or a market, and how do we take it to the larger geography at an overall level. That's the overall ecosystem that J&J operates in, and that's the length and gravitas that we all work with. Moving ahead, why do we obviously focus on advancing education and the pace of innovation? Do we all know in terms of the number of healthcare providers that we have, or the doctors that we have from India on an annual basis? We have close to 5 lakh MBBS students passing annually, and out of that, we have a lot of people getting into surgery as well. How do we train these surgeons on newer technologies and newer ideas is something that J&J partners and prides in doing that at an early stages of any surgeon who's building their career as well. We have innovative VR solutions that helps us to give those outputs to these individuals. And also we have dedicated programs and learning avenues available for these surgeons to go ahead and work around as well. That's how we've been able to partner effectively with a large fraternity of surgeons and who work and identify solutions for us as well. Going ahead. So, what is in it for you guys coming in and coming? Obviously, I've given an overview in terms of what the organization does typically. Just to take a pause and explain what is in it for you guys. I understand most of you guys have been from biotech and biomedical background. It's important to understand why a sales role works for you guys. It gives you a perspective of where your understanding about the procedural understanding, the biotech understanding, you are able to incorporate it in the field. It's important to understand the length of how does an hospital operate. So what we give you is a dedicated sales force that we have. It's best in the industry, obviously extensively trained on the protocols of how to function in a hospital, as well as how to function with the products of medical technology at an overall level. Getting on hands-on experiences of how to do these interaction, being competitive, compassionate, energetic, and the most important pillar for us is being customer centric. Understanding what the customer is bringing onto the table, the query, the challenges, the insights of a product, which can help obviously develop us newer products, giving it feedback to the research and development teams, but also ensuring that you are able to have the best in class products available to as many patients in the country as well. The MedTech Sales Internship program provides a well equipped student like you guys a professional, unique opportunity to learn from the best in industry. And I think that's something that brings onto the table for all of you guys. The internship is a period of 6 months, and Sudipta will be sharing more details with you guys. But what I understand is there is an opportunity post this 6 months to get absorbed as a full time position in sales. And the reason I'm talking sales is important that you understand it is purely a sales driven organization that we are having in India, and the roles are predominantly going to be sales and marketing to a very large extent for your understanding. Your responsibilities will be to understand the hospital ways of working, being in the OR, and OR means the operating room, understanding the procedural from the customers, their feedbacks, ensuring that the right product from the 1600 SKUs that I said is getting used in the patient, guiding them if there is anything that's required. Obviously, there is a lot of training and in-depth understanding that's already always done with everybody who joins J&J. With this, I think I'll pass it on back to Sudipto. Sudipto, over to you to take it forward.
Thank you so much, Amit, for those insightful and inspiring perspectives. Now, to bring the experience even closer to reality, we have someone very special with us, Miss Charvi, who has been a part of the MedTech Sales Trainee Program last year herself. She will be sharing her personal journey, what the program truly feels like from the inside, and how it has shaped her career. Charvi, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Sudipta. Thank you, Amit sir. Hi, everyone. I am Charvi Gupta, and I really resonate with every single one of you who's sitting here today. Because exactly 1 year ago, I was in the same spot trying to figure out what would happen when I left college. And as someone who has also come from a BTech biotech background, trust me, I understand how uncertain this phase can feel, especially when you're considering something outside core. So, talking about my experience and my learnings, for me, joining Johnson and Johnson was not just about starting a job. It was more about entering a space that is deeply education oriented and genuinely invested in learning. And trust me, I learned that only after being a part of the team. From day one itself, I felt that support. My seniors, they didn't just assign work, they explained why they're doing what they're doing, the reasoning behind every single thing. They encouraged my questions and they trusted me fully with responsibility. So, shifting from a core technical subject into a non-technical sales role was a big transition, but the culture here at Johnson and Johnson made that shift pretty smooth because I was constantly learning. I was learning about clients, about strategy, about how our team works, be it the field team, be it the management, about how we communicate to our surgeons, about how we communicate to the OR staff, and most importantly, I learned a lot of things about myself after being in J&J. What I've realized is that sales is not something that is foreign to us. We've already been doing it every single day in different forms, whether it is presenting ourselves in an interview, like most of you are doing at the moment, applying to a college, or convincing somebody about an idea. So that perspective completely changed how I saw this role. What we do here at Johnson and Johnson is use that human instinct of selling to make a real world impact on healthcare. We meet surgeons daily, we observe how they use our products in the surgeries, expertise, we understand their needs and pain points, we are genuinely making a difference in the healthcare sector. So, after all of this, over time, with the team's guidance and my consistent effort, I received a full time offer and I've been working full time with J&J since January this year. Even now, as I'm working, I'm still learning every single day from my team. And that is what makes this journey even more exciting. Every morning I'm really excited to go to work, and every evening I come back, I'm content that I learned a new thing, be it from my team, from the management, or from our surgeons. I could not be more grateful that Johnson & Johnson is the company that I'm starting my career with. I just have one piece of advice for every single one who's attending this session, and that is that I understand that some of you would be unsure about sales, but my advice would be, please don't reject it without experiencing it. Give yourself the chance to experience it and give us the chance to make this a better experience for you. And if you do join as an intern, don't think of yourself as just an intern. Think of yourself as a future professional in the making, and trust me, that mindset makes all the difference. I hope that I was of some help to you, and I hope that I see most of you joining us in May this year. Over to you, Sudipta.
Thank you, Chavi, for sharing such an honest and refreshing account of your journey. I'm sure our students found it extremely relatable and valuable. Now, moving to something new, exciting, and futuristic, the J&J Metaverse. So, the J&J Metaverse is an immersive platform where you can explore Johnson& Johnson in a whole new way. You can wander through virtual spaces, learn about our business, our culture, our innovation ecosystem, and experience J&J like never before. All you need to do is scan the QR code on your screen to enter the metaverse and start exploring. I highly recommend you to check it out. It's engaging, informative, and a great way to understand the world you are aspiring to be a part of. Before we close, let's quickly walk through the hiring process for the MedTech Sales Training Program, which you can see on the slide as well. So the process typically follows like by receiving the shortlisting, CV shortlisting. So I believe like a lot of people have already applied, which we can see. But here's also a chance. The link is open till 2nd of March, and you also have the QR code with you. So you apply there. How the process will look like? Starting with the CV shortlisting, then we'll have 2 rounds of assessment. One is the cognitive assessment, followed by that the selected students will go to the group discussion, then personal interview, followed by the offer. I know, like, so we'll also paste the link into the chat box. You can use that, or else you have the screen here with you, the QR code here with you. With that, we come to the closure. Now we have opened the floor for the Q&A. Please feel free to post your question in the chat box. So now we can see like all the questions here. Let's see if we have any questions from their end.
So, Deepto, I've seen a couple of questions and I would want to answer them. Uh, so this is for the surgery business in J&J MedTech. So the question was, what business it is from. So J&J MedTech, there is a surgery business which has the Ethicon wound closure, biosurgery, endomechanical and endo energy businesses. That those businesses, these roles are pertaining to, and that's where we are looking to hire sales interns for. The another question is, I want to ask opportunities in implant segments. Uh, Sudeep, do you want to say, do we have it in orthopedic as well?
So that we need to check with the team because we have received and we'll be sharing the detailed file once we go ahead with the process, and they'll get to know in detail all the other functions we have for.
Yeah. Some of the other questions are, so the roles will be based on, it will be across India. Uh, Predominantly tier one, tier two cities is where these roles will be based out of. Obviously, relocation would be required, but for anybody who's being getting selected in this role, there would be a location preference being taken for at least 3 to 4 locations, and then we'll try and accommodate people as per their recommendation or locational preference to a very large extent. I hope I'm able to answer that. Uh, Uh, so how important is technical knowledge compared to communication and relationship? Technical knowledge, basic understanding is an added bonus, but obviously a sales acumen or or the intent to do sales, like Charvi pointed out, is something that's going to be keen for any individual looking to get into this role. Uh,
Amit, there
Sudeep,
is
I
one
also,
very interesting question.
yeah.
So, what qualities do you usually see in a candidate who perform well in medtech sales at Johnson and Johnson?
So there are two things that you typically see in an individual who starts into a sales trainee program. uh, Whether they're able to get in a duration of 6 months, a basic understanding, and we don't expect to have a high level of technical understanding or know-how, but basic understanding of how the business cycle or the sales cycle typically functions. Relationship with the customer, whether they're able to get an understanding of the customer's requirement, and the entire sales process is something that you typically look at before we go ahead and ensure that that person comes on board.
Great. There's one more. So, what can students do during college to prepare for a career in medtech?
Uh, So predominantly in medtech, and until unless the intention is to move into research and development, obviously there is a lot of clinical piece that's needed for understanding. But to get into any medtech industry in India, uh, it's predominantly more so in sales roles. The anatomical understanding is something that's critical, and or can play a very strong added advantage for anybody who comes in and joins the organization. So I think understanding the anatomy is something that can be an added plus for anybody.
Great. So, there's one question which I'll take the answer for that. So, what aspects would be covered in the cognitive and functional assessment? So, basically, in cognitive assessment, will be covering the logical reasoning part about and also about how quick you are with your decisions, and the functional assessment covers about a basic understanding of the subject and also about from your field, like from the biotechnology as well as biomedical.
So there is a question in terms of what's the growth potential, and I see multiple questions around growth potential if you do medical sales. Uh, so medtech sales, the growth opportunities are ample, and I'll tell you what are the growth opportunities. You can grow into a sales organization. So there is an individual contributor role that you join in as. You grow in as a people manager, become a regional head, and get into a business head or a sales head kind of a responsibility. That's one route. The second route is, if somebody has a marketing inclination, you can get into marketing, do marketing at a national level, get into region, get into Asia Pacific roles that we have with J&J, do across geographies, and then get into global marketing roles as well. So depending on what your career trajectory or career aspirations are, and obviously the most important piece is how you're performing in the current roles, there are opportunities for everybody to grow.
One question for Charvi as well. So, Charvi, for you. So, in your experience, what is the most challenging part of medtech sales in the first year, and how do you overcome it?
The most challenging part of medtech sales in the first year is understanding how things are working, because medtech is very, very fast paced. So you have to keep up with it. Obviously, the team is there to hold your hand and guide you, but you also have to put in a lot of effort. It's a very symbiotic relationship. So for me, the struggling part was the fast paced environment and understanding what the terms mean, what every surgery means, what the process is during the surgery, where do they exactly use our product. So that is the challenging part, but I'm sure that you get used to it and you get better at it, because like Amit sir mentioned that there are a lot of trainings, and I heard and I saw a question asking if there would be training before you go to the OR. Yes, there would be training before you're sent to the field. You'll have a detailed, I think, a week's training, and there you would learn everything about the protocols, the surgeries, and how you're supposed to be at the OT.
Yeah, just to add to Charvi's point, anybody who joins as even as an intern, you go through a 1 week training, and once you get confirmed, there is a in-depth training of 21 days that typically happens for every individual. So be rest assured in terms of training piece, that'll be taken care of. I see a lot of questions around whether it be a paid internship or not. It's obviously there is a stipend and it's going to be a paid internship. Sudipta, if you have more details to share, you can share that as
Yes.
well.
Yeah. So, I believe you all the people who have applied must have seen all the details we have posted, and even I was also looking into it. There are a couple of questions related to the selection process and overall hiring part. So let's clear it out. So the first, yes, it's a paid internship, and all the details about the stipend, number of positions, everything is mentioned into our application form. If you revisit the application form again, you see details about the job description, number of how many positions are open, and what's the stipend. Everything has been mentioned, and all the details have already been shared with the respective TPOs or the place commerce. And yes, there is one more. Yes, it would all the rounds will be virtually. And when we'll begin this session, so basically once we close all our application form, the next step would be to move for the CV shortlisting, and that's how the process looks like. You don't No one has to worry about anything. Everything will be told to you in detail, and will give you ample of time to prepare and to apply. And all the college place commerce or the TPOs will assist you and guide you about all the process. So you do not have to worry about any steps. So everything will be taken place.
There is also a do interns get PPO? Yes, Charvi is a live example of that, of people getting converted. So obviously there is a clear-cut process of evaluation for all the individuals who get through the internship process and then eventually get a PPO as well.
There's one more question for you, Amit. How do we evaluate the performance of the sales training?
So there are two ways in which we evaluate it. Like I said, there is a training that happens, and we conduct regular interval intervention in terms of understanding of how the intern has been able to grasp the knowledge and how they've grown in their understanding at an overall level. So that's a commercial education piece that we typically drive that at a very large level. And the second piece is your interaction and understanding with there is going to be a buddy that's going to be assigned for all the individual, and then there is going to be a manager. The feedback from the buddy and the manager will be taken for a complete evaluation of that individual to have that understanding whether that sales training has been able to clear the training or not.
We have also pinned the application link, so you can use either the QR code or the application link for your reference if someone has missed to apply.
Anything else that we're missing out, Sudipta? How many
There's
students
just
get the
checking the question. We are receiving a
PPO?
lot of.
How many students get the PPO? Guys, it depends on the performance of the individuals. We are happy to absorb the right individual depending on their performances at an overall level.
Also, like people who have already applied, do we need to apply again? No, since you have already applied, so you don't need to apply again. So it is specific. The application is for all the new joiners. Maybe there would be few people who might have missed to apply. Though those people can use this link to apply it. If you have applied it, please do not apply again.
I've seen 3 to 4 questions asking if this is a target based role. Sales is target based, but during the internship, you won't have any targets. You're supposed to shadow your team and understand how they work. And then, when eventually, if and when you get converted, then you would have your targets. So, for the first 6 months, I think there are no targets for you.
Someone has raised a question about the typical CTC range offered upon successful conversion. So that is something which will not be able to disclose at disclosing it during once we are about to close the final number of people whom we are selecting it. But don't worry, we'll be sharing all the details about the CTC and everything as per the due time and as per we move ahead with the process. So it's a long journey. It's a 6 month journey now. So let's wait for a while, and we'll be discussing about all the things with the respective students who will be converted for the full time role.
Sudip, though, I see a lot of questions around what education background people are eligible.
Yes.
I see engineers, MBAs. So, do you want to clarify that as well, please?
Yeah. Thank you for that, Amit. So basically, we are open only as per now for the biotechnology BTech students as well as biomedical BTech students only. But of course, we'll also evaluate all the people. So please feel free to apply. So as that is the cognitive assessment with every one of you, and based on that, we'll be taking it ahead. But specifically, it is for the biotechnology and biomedical BTech students, BTech and BE.
Any other pointers, Sudip, that you want to share?
So a couple of questions about the process, like whether it is online or offline. So all the process, looking at the number of students, and since we are covering across all the cities in the India, so will be all the process will be virtual. I think we are good to go, and all the students with for whom we are not able to cover the questions, you can share your questions to us in the chat box, and we'll try to answer the questions. You can also write down your questions to your respective placement team, and we will collect the questions from their end, and we'll be happy to answer to those. With this, we come to an end to all the to the session. Thank you all for being such an engaging audience today. We truly hope you gained clarity and inspiration from the session. A big thank you to Amit and Charvi for sharing their time and insights. Wishing all of you the very best for your applications and future careers. We look forward to seeing many of you as a part of the Changer family. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you, everyone.